I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the regions of Malbec. The original home of Malbec, France. So you've got Paris here, then you have the Loire Valley here, you have Bordeaux here, and you have Cahors, which is the original home of Malbec from 2,000 years ago. These are the three main regions for Malbec in France. Then you have Argentina, and you have Mendoza here, which is the province for Malbec, where 70% of the wine in Argentina is made. And then you have Salta here in the north, and you have Patagonia down here, right? So why does Malbec do so well in Argentina? Because the vineyards are in alluvial soils right by the Andes Mountains, and they're at high altitude, and this is really important. And all these soils in Salta, Mendoza, and Patagonia are alluvial, which means they're created by glaciers. And most alluvial soils are very well drained, and that is very important for viticulture, and I'll explain that later. But now to the regions of Mendoza. So Mendoza city is up here to the north. Then you have Maipú and Luján de Cuyo. And Luján de Cuyo is the traditional old area. I always think of it as the Napa of Malbec, because it's where the old vineyards were planted, and it has really clay soils with a subsoil of big stones. And this Malbec from Luján is from old vines. It's very rich and, you know, a little more ripe than the Uco Valley, which is cooler climate. Then we have in the southern part the Uco Valley. And the Uco Valley is the cool climate region. And this region was pretty much discovered by my father when he started looking for cooler climate, because he wanted wines with better minerality, wines that would age well, wines which would retain their natural acidity. He started looking at the cool climate areas. And the Uco Valley is divided in three regions. You have Tupungato, is the first one. Then you have Tunuyán, and then you have San Carlos. There's a couple of really famous regions in Argentina. Gualtallarí, which is basically a place where nobody had planted until my father said, I want to find the limit of cool climate cultivation. And he went here, 5,000 feet elevation. Nobody thought the grapes would ripen there, but we make incredible, beautiful Malbecs there, and has this really beautiful stony soils. And then in the southern part in San Carlos, there's a really well-known area called Paraje Altamira. Pretty different soils. Gualtallarí is stone, 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 and Paraje Altamira has these more shallow soils, well drained, but not as stony. Also, Gualtallarí has a lot more limestone than Altamira. And then a place that's well known in Tunuyán, the middle sector of the Uco Valley, would be Vista Flores. And this area has really deep soils that give very, very aromatic wines. So to summarize the different styles, Salta has Malbec that's really jammy, really rich, really textured. In my opinion, a little ripe, and I like the more mineral style. Then in Mendoza, we have Maipú, an old region, a little warm, maybe more similar to Salta, but actually they're very different, but it's a little more on the jammy side. Luján, nice texture, age-worthy wines, old vines, but not as high acid and mineral as Uco Valley, which is my favorite region. So Patagonia actually has a completely different flavors. And the interesting thing about Patagonia is that it's all the way south, so that's cooler in Argentina, but it's at lower altitude. So actually, the climate in Patagonia is less cool than the climate in Mendoza. And I know this is hard to understand, but remember, latitude and altitude both matter.